Dearest granddaughter, today is your first birthday, Virginia, and I have not seen you since you were but a few weeks old. My return was delayed, first by our countrymen's thirst for Spanish gold, an affliction that strikes the moment an Englishman takes to sea and blinds his sight off the coast where you await me, and then by weather, which, like your gender, turns most capricious when the need to be steadfast is greatest. In spite of anything your mother may tell you, be assured that as I remain here in England, painting my recollections of the New World, you, she, and the planters there at Roanoke are in my thoughts. Perhaps I am more of an artist than a father, grandfather, or governor. However, I am certain that our savage friends help to keep you alive and well, even though we sometimes kill them. In return for their help, we must be sure to share our English culture with them. Today is your second birthday, and you are perhaps old enough to realize that I have not yet returned with supplies. I am sure your mother complains of this day, but she could not know that the Spanish sent a sea of warships to the very shores of England, which required all our country's sails to defend. Not 10 days have passed since we defeated this armada, so I can at last sail for Roanoke. I should arrive by next spring at the latest. Meanwhile, tell your mother that sassafras makes a perfectly good tea. You should smoke as much tobacco as you can, as this will open your pores and keep you free of disease.
Dear Grandpa, I know you very well. Mommy says that you're her daddy. Whenever I get hungry, she says that it's your fault. You went to the store to get groceries 3 years ago and haven't come back. She says that 3 years is long enough to get a couple of ships of groceries, even if the nearest store is in England. I know about England. It's where everybody comes from except the Indians. I don't think I've ever been to England, but Mommy says I come from there too. And that's why I'm not an Indian. Where do the Indians get their babies? My friend, Arnis, is an Indian. She says dead people come from England because all of us are dead. Usually dead people stay in England, but we came back. Arnis says that this is very strange because dead people usually stay dead and don't come back to eat up all the corn. The Indians don't want to give us any more corn because dead people aren't supposed to eat. I haven't eaten anything for 3 days, and I'm very hungry. Mommy says it's your fault because you haven't come back from the store. She said to tell you that boiled sassafras leaves are okay, but you could really go for a good cup of tea.
Dearest Virginia, after much delay due to the twin curses of storms and Spanish gold, I arrived at Roanoke on your 3rd birthday, but you were not there. We found the message you left and intended to go to Cortuan, but the weather was not favorable. Instead, we sailed for the Indies, and there claimed a prize or two. It seems as though the wind always blows towards Spanish galleons, but away from you. We are now making way for the shores of England. I fear I may never see you again, as the colony is not marketable enough to warrant another voyage, even though smoking tobacco can prevent old age, and that is worth more than gold. Otherwise, you must learn about the land and trade with the Indians. They are your only market, so you shouldn't kill them.
sink together like two old friends, sitting under the shade of trees and talking about all this. Not merely intellectually, but their hearts are disturbed. They are greatly concerned about what is happening in the world and what is happening to themselves. Like two old friends who had amiable conversation, the question being, one puts to the other, can we live? Not only you and I, but the rest of humanity. Because this earth is ours, not the American or the Irish or the English or the French. It's our earth. We are its guests. We have to live here peacefully. So the friend says that fairly clear, fairly not too clear, but we'll go on with our conversation. It's a lovely morning, there's plenty of time, the sun is warm, and the shadows are many. And the shadows matter as much as the sun. There is great beauty in the shadows. So, my friend says, let's examine that fact. What is it to become?
I think we left off where somebody said he didn't want to disappear.
Dear Virginia, it is your 7th birthday and 4 years since my last voyage to the New World. Even though reports have cited a colony here and there, the courts declared all of you dead so that your half-brother John could inherit the Dare estate. This is just as well for reasons that I would like to explain. The day will soon come when you will know the number of months it takes to make a baby, and you will realize that your mother knew full well of you before we sailed from England. This may make you wonder why you were brought into the New World rather than the Old One. I will not dwell on why your mother's predicament made this the more expedient course, nor how you came to the name Dare. These things are best left from historic record. You are innocent, and the Romanist role in your birth is not your sin, nor is it truly your mother's fault that the circumstances so conflicted with the currents of our time. I saw a play the other night in which the main character spoke of a sea of troubles. This same troubled sea surrounded you in your womb, just as it surrounded the island we came from and the island where we planted our colony. At least your father was English, which makes you the first of our race to be harvested, if not sown, in that new land. This simple fact is the only heritage your grandfather can provide. It is something you will come to know, even though we will never come to know each other.
Dear Grandpa, the name Virginia Dare means very little to me. I'm called North Carolina now, which is an Indian way of saying, y'all come back and see us, when you don't really mean it. I know very little about you, except that you came to the New World looking for spinach. Mother says you play cricket, but I don't understand why a grown man would want to jump around acting like an insect. The Indians say this is perfectly natural, that there is no significant difference between people, crickets, mountains, rivers, or spinach. The English don't see much difference between Indians and spinach either. The Indians observe that the English are the only part of the cosmos that doesn't behave naturally. The English say it is natural to behave properly. The colonists believe that it is proper to behave naturally, but they don't like spinach. The Indians like spinach. The English say this is natural, but not proper because spinach comes from India. The colonists say it is not natural to like spinach, but it shouldn't be taxed. I am part English, part colonist, and part Indian. As a whole, I'm more or less an American. We want everyone, Europeans, Africans, Asians, Indians, to like spinach, even if we don't. Actually, it's possible that spinach comes from Persia. I just have one question, Grandpa. Who are the Americans? For many years, I sat on the beach, waiting for you to return. Even though I never really knew you, I had hope. After all, isn't hope what the New World is all about? Yet, as you pointed out, you lost me. Because hope is not as marketable as gold. But I'm not lost, Grandpa. I know where I am. At least for now. You see, I have hopes of my own. They're small at the moment. Just based on survival, because that's all I know. Ultimately, they're the same hopes as yours, and through them we could come to know each other. My fear is that the New World will also come to believe that hope is not as marketable as gold. Then we'll all be lost.